Assalamu alaikum. So I wanted to show what I am doing for those who have tomato plants and it might be starting to look like this. It could be that you're seeing flowers, which is amazing. It could be that you are seeing fruit, or it could be you are starting to see a lot of the vertical height. So what is it that you need to do? What is the tomato care that you need to do? Now, I've always said tomatoes, I don't see it as beginner friendly because there is a lot of pruning and a lot of kind of maintenance, I will call it, that you have to do. But it does not take away from not trying. The first thing that I would advise people to do is look at where you are getting your first flower blossom. Now I'm going to show you mine. You see stem, 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 and then here is where I'm getting my first flowers. Now what you need to do over time is start making sure to remove any flower leaves that are touching the ground. We're having quite a lovely summer, alhamdulillah, this year. But imagine if we're having a wet summer and it's constantly raining. You don't want splash of the dirt to splash onto the leaves, and then fungal starts growing and then spreading, and then you could already see what's going on. So I've waited. Not only am I getting flower on this plant, I'm also getting fruits now, alhamdulillah. Glory be to God. So I can start doing pruning, because what I want is I want there to be a nice airflow around the plant. Lovely airflow. So this is one of the things that I'm doing. Pinching off. Don't forget to say Bismillah. You know, make yourself aware to the plant and just, oh, I'm trying to do it with my left hand. Just pinch it off, okay? Don't be afraid. You look at this and you go, oh no, all this plant. Nope. It's like a haircut. It will put all of its energy into trying to grow nice and tall. So when I've said previously that I've had tomato plants 8 feet tall, 10 feet tall, these are the things that I'm doing. So that's one. The second thing I'm going to show you is if you have quite a very strong, vigorous plant, right? It's a vine. Well, this particular one is a vine, meaning that it wants to produce all these offshoots everywhere. So you need to control that growth so that it goes upwards rather than spread out. The next thing I'm doing is looking to see, they call it suckers. And I'm going to try to, so if you bear with me, so that, you know, it could be a little bit overwhelming, but bear with me. This is the main stem. It's very vertical, it is straight. This is the branch, okay? So think of it as an arm, yep. Yeah, so body, arm. Sometimes in between, you may get something called a sucker. So that's where you get a growth, something that grows between the arm and the body, the main stem, yeah? This I can show you from a different angle on a different plant. So this is a good example, okay? So you've got, oh, try and show you, main stem, main stem, main stem, and that keeps on growing tall, okay? You've got your tomato flower that grows off of the main stem. You have your arm, yeah, and then you've got this grown in between the main stem and the arm. What you're going to do is you're going to pinch and remove. Bismillah. There we go, simple as that. If you don't remove it, what's going to happen is your tomato plant is going to put all of its energy on becoming wide, and then it turns into a big bush, and then you hear, Midi, I can't, my tomato plant is not tall, it's just wide, it's bushy, it's falling over, and you lose that vertical height. So let me tell you what happens when you don't remove. So as you can see, I'm going to bring you back to this one. I was late in catching that arm, and now you've got one stem, and then it grows into two stem. You see that? That little thing that I took off, that was this. Now it's grown into a full stem. Now I'm not going to go complicated, because there's some people that do 2 leaders, 1 leader. That's just advanced. Let's just make it nice and simple. Yeah. For a beginner, you want to your aim is to have 1 leader, 1 stem. Okay, if you don't remove the sucker, that sucker becomes this thick stem, and then you have 2. And you can imagine, if you leave 3, 4, 5, 6, what's going to happen? Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you about my plant care is when I start seeing flowers and especially fruit. So it may look something like this. I start fertilizing. I have a liquid fertilizer that I will start doing every week or every other day, depending on how I feel. So this is from the group suggestion. Someone posted putting some vinegar with some crushed eggshells. I think is a 1:10 ratio, or 10, yeah, 1 part eggshells, 10 parts vinegar. This is vinegar that I made from my grapevine. So I thought, hey, why not use something nutritious? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 capful to 10 litre water. Or let's say 1 cap to 5 gallon, but you know, we're British here, so we use litres. And that's what I'm going to be using to fertilise, to give it that goodness. Also, what I have done is I've done a previous video of how I make my homemade fertiliser, and I've sprinkled that at the base of the plant. I did that a few weeks ago, at the base of the plant, so it's getting a double hit now. You've got the powder that's breaking down, but then you also have something liquid. Now if you don't want to make your own liquid fertilizer, you can use seaweed, you can use Epsom salts diluted in water. You can get that from any store, like, you know, Asda's or whatever. Seaweed again is another good one, but you want to have some kind of weekly feed, basically, so that really goes into the flower. Another one is vermicompost tea if you have worms. So just some kind of a fertilizer. And yeah, and I'm just training mine on a string. So if you want to learn about that process, do let me know. I can tell you how I train my vines to a string to get it really nice and vertical, or you could just use a cane, whichever is simplest. But yeah, I hope you find this quite not only therapeutic but also inspiring. And yeah, don't be afraid. So remember, flowers, flowers, fertilize, and pinch the suckers. By pinching the suckers, you get the vertical height. And don't forget to prune right up onto your first flower. I'm going to do this gradually because it's a tall plant. Or any leaves that are touching the floor, you pinch off. That was touching here, you pinch off. So I hope that's helpful. Assalamu alaikum.